My family calls me Mandy. My friends call me Goofy. At work, I am known as Ivy. To the world, I'm crazy. But who am I? I'm a messenger. I'm born November 2nd, 1981, which is All Souls Day, or the Day of the Dead. Since I was a little kid, my family nicknamed me Wild Child. I was always goofy and always trying to make people laugh. I have a wonderful family. I grew up swimming and ice skating and dancing and always having a good time. I was very blessed. At the age of 7, my parents got divorced. My sister went to live with my mom, and my brother and I both stayed at my dad's house that we were raised in. It was tough growing up, doing shared parenting, barely getting to see my mother, but on every other weekend was rough as a kid. I remember one of my first spiritual experiences. I had a baby doll, and it didn't have any batteries in it. We didn't have a lot of money growing up, and I remember just being really sad that my baby doll couldn't talk without her batteries in it. And I remember one day just looking at the baby doll and holding it in my hands and, talking to God for some reason that day, and, was like, God, is there any way that you could make this baby doll talk? And just questioning the whole God thing and wondering if there was really a God. And I remember as soon as I asked that question, that baby doll started talking. So I take the baby doll and I throw it in the closet, and I don't think I touched that baby doll for a couple months. For junior high, my dad moved to a town about 45 minutes away from where I grew up, and it was hard. I was away from my mom's side of the family, and I just really remember being really sad. I quickly found, a boyfriend, had a handful of them. At about 15, I got mono, and I remember for the first week of having mono not being able to walk anywhere, barely being able to do anything. I was really sick, and I was at my dad's house for a week. I didn't do nothing but watch TV and be sick, and then my mom got me on that weekend and brought me home to her house and started sharing some of her self-help books with me, and I was miraculously healed in 3 days.
Catch it. Catch it right here. Like you spin it out and you catch it.
My first serious boyfriend became my best friend. He was so much fun. He cheated on me, I found out. I remember going home that day and turning up the radio and screaming and chanting and yelling at the top of my lungs to the music on my radio at home. And later that night, I get a phone call that my boyfriend, the girl that he was cheating on me with, his brother and his best friend were in a car accident and nearly all died. I just remember, after that hate screaming, basically chant in my room, when it came on the news, this happened at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the same time that I was screaming in rage at the top of my lungs in my bedroom. As soon as I heard that they were in an accident, I started praying. I just pleaded with God, please, God, just please, let them live, let them all make it through this. And this taught me the power of the energy that you send out. You're either sending love with your vibrations of energy, or you're throwing daggers at people. When I would go to my mom's house on the weekends, we were always doing something. She rarely would let us watch TV. We would do crafts, we would do arts. We started training together as a family and competing in these national fitness competitions. We were actually the first family to compete in the nation together as a family. My stepdad would push us kids to get tough, But I wanted to do fitness and I wanted to accomplish something with my life. So I had a few different jobs. I worked at pizza places and was a dishwasher, and then I started working at a nursing home my senior year and went to live with my mom and stepdad. Unfortunately, my stepdad and I didn't get along very well. I was stubborn, and I moved out and got my own place and lived in a duplex with my aunt. And I barely was making ends meet, so I started exotic dancing. Changed my whole lifestyle, to say the least. The first lap dance, I was shaking to the core. My legs, you could literally feel them vibrating. I was so nervous. I was pretty disgusted. I didn't want anyone touching me. It was rough. My aunt found out and she kicked me out. So I continued dancing to pay for my next place. Got my own place and had money and started doing blow on the weekends. Seriously, dancing is not a good thing to do. Please refrain from dancing. America.
Why do you keep calling the camera America?
Because this is America I'm talking to, telling them that dancing is not a good career choice. So I'm dancing, I'm getting grief from a lot of my family members. My brother was devastated. My dad was hurt. It took a toll on a lot of my family members. And I wanted to make him proud, but it was hard for me to do anything that I didn't want to do. And the only thing I really wanted to do was to be an actress.
What's up, MTV? I'm Amanda Quimper from Elyria, Ohio. In the next few minutes, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. First of all, I have a lot of talent and skill in gymnastics, karate, dance, and fitness.
So I put myself through 2 years of film and acting at my local community college, and then I moved out to California. My brother and my boyfriend dropped me off in California by myself. I didn't know really anyone out there. I got my own apartment. I worked at a dinner dance theater, which was a little different. I got an acting coach, I got an agent, I got a manager. I went on auditions all the time. My acting coach would always have dinner at her house, and that was kind of like my new family. I would roller skate up and down the boardwalk all the time. I went to the marina on the weekends and went out on the boat with my friends that I met out there. And I actually met a friend that was in the music industry big. He got me into all kinds of cool concerts and events and premiere parties and all kinds of fun stuff. So I ended up going to actually the Playboy Mansion and ended up even eating dinner with Hefner and the Playboy Bunnies. I found myself doing, partying a little harder at some of the Hollywood parties. A lot of coke, a lot of stuff going on. I remember my first ghost experience was after a premiere party. My friend put on this after premiere party, and we were in the penthouse suite of the Roosevelt Hotel. Well, I'm going to the bathroom in the penthouse suite, bedroom area. No one was there at this party yet. And I remember I was basically on the toilet and all of a sudden I hear a woman's voice whisper my name into my ear. And it was Mandy, right in my ear. And I remember looking around like, what was that? And I opened the door, looked around the bedroom, no one's there. I went up this little stairs, and then there's a balcony, and you can go on the roof of the Roosevelt Hotel. And my friend Gary was on the roof of the hotel there, and was like, "Hey Gary, did you whisper my name by the bathroom?" And he said, "No." I said, "I think I just heard a ghost." I was watching TV, and the Roosevelt Hotel was on TV, and they talked about how Marilyn Monroe has been seen in the Roosevelt Hotel. So I believe that might have been Marilyn Monroe that whispered into my ear. I don't know everything, but definitely woke me up to the supernatural, and there's definitely something going on here. I miss my family. Didn't feel like I had too many real friends, and I wanted to come home. I missed my boyfriend. We agreed on a 2-year relationship, so when the 2 years was up, it was time to come back home. I said I would, try, and I didn't want to say that I never tried. I wanted to give it, a good chance. So after the 2 years was up, I moved home.
Shut the fucking door.
What? What's up, Joey? And Jen.
Oh, we missed some too.
Hey, get out of here with that.
Fuck you. When I moved home, my brother, one of my cousins, and my boyfriend were all on basically heroin. I had quit dancing when I moved home. I was tired of it. I couldn't take it anymore. I was just done. I caught my brother's friend in the middle of a drug deal, and I asked him what was in his hand. And he told me OxyContin. And I told them, that's heroin. And they're like, "Oh, no, it's not that bad. It's, we just do it once in a while. We just do it on the weekends. It's fun, da-da-da-da-da." And I made that conscious choice to walk that path, and it took me on a ride for the next 3+ years of my life. I started dancing again. I could barely afford the bills without dancing. I'm in my drug addiction hard at this time, living in this house. I start having these experiences. My boyfriend laid out a line about this long that was way too much for my body to handle, and I knew that. And he said, do the whole thing or you don't get none at all. And I'm like, thinking in my mind, like, this could kill me. This is way too much for my body to handle. And I remember thinking, like, please God, protect me. I need my next fix. I was going to be sick. And it was for free. So I said a prayer in my head and I looked out the window of my kitchen, and there was the most detailed painting of Archangel Michael in the clouds of the sky that I've ever seen in my life before. People see shapes in the clouds, but this was different. This was very detailed, like sword, shield, helmet. Archangel Michael was looking down at me, like, very stern look on his face, like, I'm here and I'm protecting you, but I am not happy about this. Then I just started spiraling out of control. I was getting bad. I would go on binges where I'd be up for days at a time, and they call it speedballing, where you're mixing cocaine and heroin. And I remember, even being in a situation where I didn't go to work for days. I needed money. I remember, sitting there with a drug dealer friend of mine, and, he's kind of feeding me these drugs and, helping me stay up for days. And I remember he gave me, a couple $100 to pay my bills because I couldn't make it to work. I was so screwed up. I started having these spiritual experiences in my house. I remember one time waking up with, in the middle of the night, I had my hair twisted up on my pillow. It was wet, all together. And I remember waking up in the middle of the night, something pulling the crap out of my hair. And it was pulling it so hard that my chin was to my chest. And I remember looking and seeing a saddle shoe on each side of me. I look up, there's this deity has white knee-high stockings, a little plaid short skirt, and a white button-up blouse. And when I got to her head, she had short black hair, and her head right here was gone, like it was blown off. Now, whether that girl killed herself or someone killed her or something tragic happened to this little girl, I don't know. But automatically in the midst of this experience, I knew, because I read a lot of spiritual books and books about God and the supernatural, I knew that this was an earthbound soul that was confused or lost, or something tragic happened to her. And I knew right away to pray, so I just started praying, in Jesus' name, please take her up to the light of God. In Jesus' name, please take her up to the light of God. And on the third time of saying that, she disappeared. So after quite a few of these benders, my mom calls me and begs me to get help. After my mom begged and pleaded with me to get help, I decided that I was going to go detox at her house for the first time after 2 years of being out there on OxyContin and heroin occasionally when I couldn't find OxyContin. I got down on my knees and prayed that God help me and help this to be easy. And I just kept praying, please God, let me be resurrected in 3 days like Jesus. And I continued to say that prayer for the next 3 days of detoxing at my mom's house. I was sweating profusely. shaking. It was like the worst flu you can imagine times 100. Your body is in utter pain. You can barely walk. I had to crawl to the bathroom. I stunk. My sister almost threw up from the smell. Like I smelled like death. For those 3 days, I just continued to pray that I be healed in 3 days. Jesus, please help me to be resurrected in 3 days. I just pleaded. And on the third day, an aura of emerald green light appeared while we were driving to my grandmother's house. It was the first time getting out of my mom's house while detoxing. I had layers upon layers of clothes, but I was sweating and shaking and hot and cold. And I'm in the backseat of my mom's car, like in a ball. I knew that this was Archangel Raphael, the archangel of healing. When we finally got to my grandmother's house, I took my mom, pulled her aside, and I said, "Did you pray to Archangel Raphael?" And she stepped back and she looked at me really funny. She goes, "How did you know?" Later that night, I felt completely healed. I was walking around praising God that I was healed, and I'm just in awe that I feel normal again. It was unbelievable. My mom wanted me to do something for my recovery because of all the stuff she was reading. She was really scared for me to go back home, and I did this Indian retreat she wanted me to do. Learned all about the Native Americans and did this, weekend, so that my mom would feel more comfortable about me going back home. And I get back home, and I think I lasted 3 months, and I was back out running. I remember putting myself in the hospital on Easter Sunday. My whole family had to come visit me in the hospital. My whole neurological system in my body quit working. My head started doing whatever it felt like, and I looked like I could potentially be handicapped. And that didn't wake me up. When I left the hospital, I went straight to the drug dealer's house and continued to use just to not deal with the shame and remorse and the guilt I had felt from ruining Easter Sunday, and continued to hurt myself. So I have my drug dealer move into my house. What an idea, right? And when I would do cocaine, I would always look for stuff. I would always feel like there was something there watching me that I just couldn't really put my finger on. So I would look in reflections of stuff. I, had a wine glass. Sometimes I would hold up this wine glass and I'd be able to see people's deceased loved ones next to them. And I remember seeing what looked like the Grim Reaper next to my drug dealer friend that was living with me. On his other side of him was his grandfather, who he said was a bad man and that had, I guess, even killed people in his lifetime. So this other entity that was on the other side of him that looked like the Grim Reaper may have been a generational spirit that was now with him. I remember him wigging out on me one day and pinning me up in the bathroom, and something, at that moment in time said, grab the mirror that was on the bathroom counter and hit him over the head with it. And I'm like, he had me cornered up against the bathroom wall and was acting like I was the police and I was gonna hurt him or do something to him, and he was attacking me, and I took the mirror and I hit him over the head with it, and the mirror breaks. There's blood all over the walls. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to jail. All of a sudden he snaps out of it. He's back to himself. He's fine. Oh, we're cool. I'm like, what do you mean we're cool? You were just attacking me a second ago. What do you mean we're cool? We're not cool. This is not cool at all. I'm like, He's like, oh, we're cool. I'm like, what just happened? The next time he did this, he's sitting in his bedroom on this small love seat, and I'm looking at him in the doorway, and he just starts snapping at me like I'm the police again. And I'm looking at him like, what is your deal? I didn't do nothing, you know? And all of a sudden, I see this dark shadow come over him and just sit within him, and it looked identical to what the Grim Reaper looks like. He just starts going off with his mouth like he's going to hurt me. And I said, you better pray to God and to Archangel Michael right now. And I said, there's this thing, it's messing with you, it's jumping in your body, it's making you act like a lunatic. It looks like the Grim Reaper, you know, and I said that, and I grabbed my keys, and I grabbed my purse, and I left my house. So I'm driving down the road, you know, praying for him. God, please protect him. Please discard this lower energy. You know, please help him, God. And he calls me within a couple minutes, crying his eyes out, going, Mandy, what's going on, Mandy? I don't know what's going on, Mandy. There's tears falling down my face, Mandy. What's going on? And I'm like, I told you this thing is messing with you. It's making you act like a lunatic. You know, I don't know. You got to pray, da-da-da-da. And he's like, you don't understand, Mandy. I don't cry. There's tears falling down my face, Mandy. What's going on? And that was my first experience of a very negative entity, energy, presence that we don't know what we're dealing with here. So I'm living in this house. I'm in and out of trying to get sober. I put myself in rehab. I took myself to my mom's, went through detox there. The third time I tried, I begged my new best friend, Brian, to help me get sober. And thank God for him. He was my only friend that wasn't using heroin. My friend Brian would get off work and come over and visit me. He would give me something to look forward to, someone to hang out with, someone to do normal things with. I had no real friends. And it wasn't until I changed my friends that my life really changed for the better.
14 miles split. In the snow, it says a lot more in the snow.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm laying here witnessing this conversation.
I finally decided and made that decision. Your decisions determine your destiny, to get on Suboxone and try to wean myself off of OxyContin, which I did. Once I weaned myself off of OxyContin, then I weaned myself off of Suboxone, which was also very, very hard. When I weaned myself off of Suboxone and I was about 6 months off of Suboxone, I was questioning my purpose in life and who I was, and was thinking about going back out there and using. I had this idea for a reality television show helping women in the exotic dance industry because I've been a dancer most of my life. So I really wanted to help these women. I kept seeing them dying, and I just kept crying out to God and just asking, you know, what my purpose was. Should I still put time and money and energy into this television show idea that I had? And, please show me more than just this knowing I'm supposed to do this television show. Please show me with my eyes so that I can see more than just a strong knowing I'm supposed to do this television show. I was finally shown a full-out vision from God of me doing a television show helping women, I believe, get out of sex trafficking. The vision I was shown, there was a group of women lined up in front of me like you see on a format reality television show, where they're on the bleachers. They were standing in front of me, and I could hear every word I was saying to these women. It was beautifully written. The words that I was speaking to these women, it was basically saying, we're here to help you, change your lives for the better because you're not happy with what you're doing, and, we're here to help you. And I came out of this vision, and I was wide awake during this vision, and just sat up and was like, holy cow. I just couldn't. I've never seen anything that vivid, anything that real to me that wasn't a dream. And I've been fighting for the last 15 some years to get that television show acquired by a network. But obviously we know television is controlled and it's very tough out there. The competition is real. I am launching a reality show designed to help women in various adult-themed professions, including human sex trafficking. This is my mission. These lifestyles and realities can become extremely destructive, demoralizing, and sometimes even life-threatening.
Where I work, there's a few girls that have died.
For many, this show is going to be a fight for the fulfillment of their personal mission and purpose. It is in this house where they will cultivate self-worth, inner peace, integrity, and freedom.
And I hear a voice down deep inside of me telling me one more time, get back on your feet.
I have the support of my family with this show. My mother, Debbie, is a fitness professional with over 2 decades of experience, helping others live a healthy lifestyle with her inspired original backyard boot camp. My sister, Diane, is a firewalking instructor and empowerment coach who uses techniques to help people overcome their fears and limiting beliefs. I have had countless spiritual experiences, and I will never forget or give up on the vision I received showing me that my purpose was to work on a reality television show, helping women in adult-themed industries and human sex trafficking. I call this reality show Stripped Clean. Together, we will strive to make a lasting, positive difference for these women, along with a variety of dynamic and unconventional strategies, and a multitude of professionals. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to your support. So I'm going to church. I'm living with my friend Brian now because he basically moved in with me and babysat me to be there for me to help me stay off of these nasty drugs. I'm going to church. I'm tired of dancing. I couldn't stay in the clubs anymore. It wasn't healthy. So I got out of it. Had the best times in my life. Let me tell you, when you get off of a drug like that, you might not know who you are at first, but you'll start discovering who you are and why you came here. Because we came here with a purpose. So I took a lot of people to meetings. I, started getting out there, volunteering, my aunt's animal rescue, and going to my family's for dinner and doing normal things that I hadn't done in years. And I missed that. The place I was living was way too much money, so I moved out and got a place, and Brian and I started renting another house. I remember being in and out of the club, and I remember one of the times I was in, I remember everything inside of me wanted to be done. I remember crying outside and just praying to God, like, I'm just done. I can't take this anymore. Like, please help me get out of this. Like, I'm just done, God. But everything inside of me knew that I was supposed to be there still. And it wasn't until a 3-year-old deceased child of a girl that I worked with appeared at the end of my bed one night and told me that he was worried about his mommy. This child came to the end of my bed one night and said that he was worried about mommy, and that if he wouldn't have died, that his mother wouldn't have gave life to so many other souls after he had passed on. He told me that he was with her all the time and that he loved her and that it was all for a reason. So I worked with this girl. I didn't have her phone number. The next week I go to work, I pull her aside, I'm like, what is going on? I said, your 3-year-old child appeared at the end of my bed last Thursday night. He said he was worried about you. I said, what's going on? And she said, she told me that last Thursday night, the night that he appeared to me, she was going to commit suicide. Also, when I got off of heroin, I started getting these 2 children. One of my friends that started shooting up, I felt bad for her children. Her children lived with me for a short period of time, and I wanted to do something to help these kids, so I took it upon myself to do fun things with them on the weekends and take them out to dinner and have them spend the night, and I would buy them Christmas presents and birthday presents, and honestly, I think these kids were a huge part in saving my life. Because had they not been there, who knows what I would have been doing on the weekends. Let's see. Cool. That's awesome. What?
So will you get pulled over since I'm driving?
Will I get pulled over?
Yeah.
So we move into this new house that we're renting, and Brian, I ended up
You're having a
meeting
baby?
some girl and introducing her to
Are you
my
excited
friend
about
Brian,
that?
and
Yeah, I'm very
they met, fell in love, and had a baby shortly after, and now they are living in their own place together happily. So I've already had these, dream visitations where, Jesus was coming and showing me things. I remember Jesus appeared to me in a dream. He was healing my sister, sending these beautiful, like a neon emerald green beams of light to my sister's stomach region. I didn't even know my sister was sick. The next day I called her after this dream, and she told me that she was in a lot of pain in her stomach region. She was in a ball. She couldn't barely talk. She had lost her voice in the dream. that I had, she could only whisper. So something definitely is beyond me that's working, that's a force in my life, and definitely stuff going on in the spiritual. And then I have a dream. Now, I didn't see God, but I heard his voice very loudly and clearly. And he wasn't happy. In this dream, the whole sky was talking. I was outside of the house where I was living at the time in this dream, and I hear God's voice in the sky start talking and saying, governments around the world were doing a lot of corrupt things, he was saying. So God says he's coming back, and he's coming back because our governments are doing all this stuff. Our governments around the world are doing all this stuff, and he's coming back to do something about it. And in this dream, the clouds started taking forms of dragons, like in Revelations in the Bible. And I remember waking up from that dream and thinking, oh my gosh, this is something. Shortly after this dream, I run across some YouTube videos, and some of these YouTube videos were saying the same thing that God was telling me in a dream. I start keeping up with these channel messages, and basically these channel messages and all these people from all over the world that are getting these channel messages are all saying the same thing, that the Earth's evolving, that we're becoming multidimensional again. As the Earth becomes multidimensional again, we are becoming multidimensional again. Our DNA is being reopened up. It's been dormant for a long time. We're only using 24 out of 64 codecs of our DNA. We call it junk DNA. God didn't make junk, in my opinion. He didn't make us not to use 80% of our brains. Supposedly, these other parts of our brains are used to tap into different dimensional stuff. They're putting fluoride in our water to dumb us down. Fluoride calcifies and hardens your pineal glands. If you take the symbol of the Eye of Horus in Egyptian times and look at the actual pineal glands in your brain, you will see that it looks pretty identical to the Eye of Horus. So in the Bible, it says our eyes are blinded and our heart is calloused. And that's because our third eye, our spiritual sight, has been closed for a long time. And it's being reopened up. Supposedly the sun is downloading codes into our pineal glands. So the sun is very important. They're trying to black out the sun with chemtrails. The chemtrails in the sky have aluminum, barium, all these poisons in it to dumb us down as well. Our water has fluoride in it, so we're drinking toxic waste poison. It's not even natural ground water fluoride that we naturally get from the earth. It's a big conspiracy. I cut out fluoride, I cut out meat, which I loved. I start taking things, different supplements and herbs and stuff to decalcify my pineal gland, beets, spirulina, apple cider vinegar, all kinds of stuff to decalcify your pineal gland. I really start to get conscious about what God showed me. So I go to bed one night and I wake up vibrating from the inside out. And it is this beautiful, sacred, geometric light stream made of sparkling, moving, changing presence of the Star of David hovering over my bed. And I'm just in awe, like, okay, God, thank you. You know, it's the Star of David, you know, and I'm vibrating, shaking, like I'm being downloaded with some serious information. My whole body is trembling. And I'm like, all right, thank you, God, thank you, God. And then I went back to sleep. And then I woke up a second time. And it was the 5-pointed star, the pentagram, looking the same way, doing the same thing, moving in and out, hovering over me. and I was again vibrating from the inside out. Then I wake up one night to let my dog outside, and I'm sitting on my porch steps of my house, and all of a sudden I look up to the right and I see this huge golden tunnel of light running out, straight out, parallel to the power lines right next to the house I was living. And I'm looking up at this thing, and it's between the power lines and the roof of my house, right? This huge, I mean, you could fit a car in this thing. It's that big. And I'm looking at this thing, I'm like, there is no way a plane just flew by and left a golden chemtrail right next to the roof of my house and almost took off the roof of my house, right? I'm like, this is something. So I'm looking around, and I see these other ones. I see smaller ones that were about yay big. There was coming up out of the ground, straight into the sky, diagonal. There was one over here in front of this barn, and then there was one over here at this property next door to me, coming out of my neighbor's garden, straight up in the sky that way. So I'm looking at these things, going, okay, what is going on? I'm looking around at them like, okay, God, thanks for showing me this. What is this? I have no idea. None. And the very next day, the first channel message was about how these light tunnels that haven't been opened since Atlantis are being reopened up around the earth. There is some serious stuff going on right now, simultaneously, that many of us can't tap into, experience, or see. One of my girlfriends moved in with me, my best friend Patty, and she takes me to this church, and we're sitting there, and I had quit dancing. I was getting my life together, and I remember one of the prophetic people was standing up in front of the church and pointed at me in the back of the room and said, "God's really proud of you. You've come a long way." And I had at that time. And she said, "He's really proud of you." And I started going to this church nonstop for the next 3 years, taking every prophetic deliverance and healing class that this church had to offer. And God started showing me a lot of stuff. And I tried to talk to people in the church about it. The Star of David hovering over my bed, these light tunnels that I saw. I had archangel experiences, and some of the weirder ones, they're telling me, oh, that's not God, that's the enemy, and everything's the enemy. And I'm like, how are you going to tell me that this is the enemy? Like, I'm praying to God, and in Jesus' name, everything. I'm doing everything right. I'm going to church. I'm taking all these classes. I'm learning so much. I love God. Why would this be the enemy? I remember crying out to God, like, why don't you show these people what you're showing me? God, these people love you. And I remember he showed me like a picture of a man, like in this box, standing in this box. And he showed me this man like so afraid to put his foot outside of this box that he doesn't go anywhere. And then he showed me the word complacent. And that he weeps for people in the church because God wants to show you so much more. But out of fear, you don't. And God is not a God of fear, but of power, love, and of sound mind. So I start having dreams of helping girls in the clubs, nonstop. I'm feeling that I'm supposed to go back to my work as an exotic dancer, and I'm supposed to make this show happen. Everything inside of me was like, I need to go back. I need to make this show happen. That's all I knew. And I trusted that. And I went back to the club, and in the midst of me going back there, within the first week, someone was overdosed outside in the parking lot. I sat with until the ambulance came. Within the first 3 months, I helped rescue a girl out of sex trafficking. She was taken to Vegas and trafficked, and we got her back home. I started praying over some of the people that would be in these clubs, whether it be the customers coming in or the girls or the bartenders. I would bring in Narcan. A few of the girls overdosed in the club as I was there. It was just a mess, like very divinely orchestrated, to say the least. But sad, because I didn't want to be there, and I still don't want to be there. I'm tired. I want to start living my purpose. So I get this producer to come from California to help me put together this pilot for this TV show. And he gets to my house, and he's like, "You're in the heart of the heroin epidemic." He's like, "CNN was just here 2 weeks ago." He's like, "You need to make this show about the heroin epidemic, and then it can go into other modern everyday issues like sex trafficking and helping these women." And I was like, okay, well, that would be great. I would love to help people with the heroin epidemic. I used to have a heroin problem. Like, okay. So next thing I know, this takes me on a 2-year race against heroin. And I found myself at every rally and march and event in Ohio and many, many events around the country.
Hey, city workers.
She died from an overdose. She was 26 years old. She had a little girl. She's very missed.
There needs to be treatment on demand for all. No questions asked.
I want to take a moment of silence for the people that are not here today with us. As I perform that 2.5-minute song, there was a mother out there that buried her son. There was a mother out there that buried her daughter.
I give this all I got with these words that I recite. Whether I talk behind the podium or speak behind the mic, there's purpose in my rap, gave me meaning to my life, and I'm as honest as I am because there's freedom when I write.
Nightmares are getting identified by my closer kin. I be a monster, one I can't vanquish, one I can't kill, one I can't subdue, the one in the bare middle finger.
Made you blind and I'm feeling this love surround you. Sincerely signing off to formally feeding that brand. Go mess up someone else's life tonight.
I started doing interviews, interviewing different people on the front lines. Who's doing what? What's being done? What can we do to help these people? The stats are sickening. We have lost more people than the Vietnam War. Hundreds of thousands of people every year all over the country are dying from the heroin epidemic. And now fentanyl comes out, which is 500 times harder than heroin and Oxycontin. And then carfentanil comes out, which is 1,000 times harder than fentanyl. We already have a serious problem, and they're gonna allow these new, more potent drugs on the market. For what? Why? I started reaching out, doing weekly hikes to connect with those affected by the heroin epidemic, to local residents, families affected, whoever. I started doing mind, body, spirit workshops and reaching out. I started going to rehabs and doing mind, body, spirit workshops. So I would combine my mom's, fitness and yoga and healing stuff, and try to help people connect with God, of their understanding, in an open-minded, non-judgmental platform, which I feel is very important, and I feel that God is putting this new platform on my heart. We need an open-minded, non-judgmental platform to reach people where these other places and people aren't. Because I've read so many books on spiritual stuff and took all these prophetic and deliverance and healing classes, I started utilizing everything that I've learned throughout my entire life and trying to apply it to help people and not be judgmental about anyone else's beliefs. And I'm going to all these rallies and marches and events and accumulating all this footage. I have enough to do a whole season of the television show on the heroin epidemic right now. So we named the television show Stripped Clean, Television with a Higher Purpose, which is about finding new ways to change lives, dealing with modern everyday issues. Our first season is about the heroin epidemic, but then we're going into other issues too. Because of my spiritual experiences, I took it upon myself to start covering parts of the UFO and disclosure movement going on right now. I had a blue avian appear to me out my bedroom window one night. I guess they were here in Egyptian times. They're a bird-headed humanoid. They're bright neon blue. It was translucent. It was iridescent. It was see-through, but I could clearly see what it was. And I remember looking at this thing thinking, it's got a beak for a nose, but it had a human head. And the next day, I run across a YouTube video of this guy named Corey Good, and he goes on to talk about the blue avians and how these blue avians are back on the planet. They're here, they're helping with the shift and what's going on spiritually. They're all about love and forgiveness, and I guess as the earth goes through these changes, our bodies are going through these physical changes, and we're going through an ascension process, and we're evolving, and our DNA is changing, obviously, but they're here helping us with the shift. It's burning a lot of us out. It's causing a lot of sleeping problems, weight problems, skin problems, anything you can imagine. It's doing to our bodies, and a lot of us, might even mistake it for a cold or something, but it's helping us clear our throats, to open our lungs and go through. I would say always, consult with your doctor, but use discernment when it comes to narcotics. I started getting interviews of people on the front lines of the UFO, and somebody tied in the whole cannabis movement, so I found with the whole heroin epidemic thing. So next thing you know, I'm at HempFest. I'm filming people on the front lines with the movement and hemp and cannabis, and fighting that cannabis can save lives, which cannabis was a part of my journey too. I used cannabis to get off of Suboxone.
And I lost my daughter a year ago, and she had cancer. She had cancer to the liver and the stomach and the heart and the brain and the lungs and everything.
Another challenge ahead of us is, how are you going to teach the doctors who are not even being told how the endocannabinoid system works, how we can rectify it?
And we went the cannabis route. We went the oil route, and it was literally life-changing for us, because then we got to enjoy her, she got to enjoy us. Her days were a lot better, which made our days a lot better.
It help heals you. Hemp is something else, and we gonna continue this revolutionary thing one day at a time. CBD in the building. What you feel about that?
The shit is getting deep. So I guess there's this whole Q movement now. Above Majestic just came on, is #1 on iTunes and Amazon across the country. There's a whole lot of stuff we don't know about the secret space program, about reptilian race, about the blue avians, and there is some serious movements in history going on right now, and I'm in the midst of it. I feel like I need to tie this into what I'm doing in my documentary, because I've seen a blue avian, because I've seen someone shapeshift in front of me that was some sort of reptilian, but for whatever reason I was shown this. God showed me these things, and there's some serious stuff going on right now, and it's very close to my heart, because I have been witness to these things personally. So I know it sounds a little weird, so we're going to one of the crazier movements in history, the UFO movement, and we're gonna make some changes and see what's happening in DC. Check it out. Up next, Stripped Clean TV with purpose, yo.
Hi, my name's Emery Smith. I'm here at Dimensions of Disclosure. Out here with a bunch of great people, getting together to raise this, collective consciousness so we can all get on the same frequency and start putting this great energy into the planet and into each other, so we can actually ascend into a different dimension, meaning this dimension, but getting a little bit more technologically advanced.
And I'm also a member of many different groups in my Zuni culture, primarily the Kachina Society, the Galaxy Medicine Society, the clan system, and I have now attained the level of being a wisdom keeper of the tribe, and also
I'm also the author of the Compendium of the Emerald Tablets, which was just released as a book. I'm also an expert host on Deep Space, an original series by Gaia. Also an expert host on Ancient Civilizations on Gaia TV, and I've been on Coast to Coast and many other notable networks as well. I'm one of the people that are on the forefront of UFO disclosure and space anomaly disclosure in the world. I'm the president of the United Family of Anomaly Hunters, and we have now cataloged over 1 million, downloaded over 1 million images, and cataloged over 58,000 anomalies directly from official agencies like NASA, the European Space Agency, as well as the Russian Space Agency and the China Space Agency as well.
Well, we have DNA in us that has extraterrestrial DNA. And the reason I know this is because after testing multiple DNAs of other extraterrestrials, they have our DNA. So my opinion is that these extraterrestrials actually were once us, and now they have our DNA, we have their DNA, and we're just one big, Mod Podge of a beautiful one race of the whole universe. We're not, separated by countries, we're not separated by planets or star systems. You can't be when you're all one.
The pedophilia that's wrought in Hollywood, in our government, in our control institutions, the human trafficking that various elites definitely participate in, the satanic sacrifice rituals that they participate in as well. Very real. A lot of people don't want to believe it because and they don't even want to think about it because it's negative, but it's, thinking about something isn't negative, it's how you're thinking about it, right? If we think about these deep, dark topics in ways that help our society get rid of them, well, then that's one of the most positive things we can do, isn't it? So, not running away from these, but taking the time to understand the reality of these topics and how they go about doing it, because there's thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that are in sex slave work, that are being trafficked, that are literally modern day slaves, prisoners. And, well, how are we going to save them if we don't talk about it, speak about it? So we need to.
So they're waiting for us to grow up. Grow up meaning we can't let 100 families control 7.5 billion people on one planet. We've basically allowed this to happen to ourselves, and we've been put into collusion by our silence.
We're so grateful to the spirits, to the Grandati and the Grandwachi, and to all our ancestors, and to these beautiful ancestors that are on this ground. We were so inspired that they gave us permission to share our gifts and our fruits here. So hello.
When I say we, I'm talking about other tribal leaders, or at least historians. We have also put a group together we are now going to let the information out that is so far out based upon the information that I have received and also the actual artifacts that have survived for thousands of years. And I have access to that now.
So I'm trying to follow my mom's footsteps and being the ripple effect. I'm reaching out, I'm doing radio shows, I'm doing Facebook Lives, I'm a very shy person. I'm not one to go on Facebook Live all the time. I need to get my message out there. That's why I'm doing this documentary right now that you're watching. I was on the news 5 times throughout, filming the heroin epidemic, telling them what I was working on, why I was working on it. Every time I would go to watch the clips and what they shot, it was very disappointing because my message was not getting across and what I was doing was not coming out. I did my own rally in Ground Zero in Ohio. And they took me out of my own rally that I put on. They didn't say anything about what I was doing. It's just very disheartening. The media, fake news. Sad. It's like everything's manipulated. So today is my event, and it's muddy and kind of cold and drizzly, and it's supposed to rain. And I'm a little scared, but everything happens for a reason. I gotta trust, and I've been praying that it'll be all right.
So I am Amanda's mom, Debbie Ballmer. Today I brought the military truck to help draw some attention for her, to draw some attention to her cause, to what she's trying to express to the world, trying to help people gain awareness about the seriousness of this epidemic.
I'm with StripsClean.net. It's a television show that I'm working on trying to get acquired by a network because of a vision that God showed me 8 years ago when I got off of opiates.
Every time I hear these moms talk about that, it tears me up that they had to deal with that there's lots of moms and dads and brothers and sisters having to deal with that today. And it's heart-wrenching and it's sad, and I know we can't stop it, but we could sure put a dent in it.
There's no cookie-cutter way. There's many solutions, and they're all out there. You gotta look for them. For me, it wasn't just one answer. It was many answers. I had to read tons of books. I, fought for my life. I tried and tried and tried to get sober from heroin many times, and I, finally when I got sober for the 3rd time from heroin, I was shown basically a vision I received from God after praying. I call it God. It's, you know, whatever you want to call it, a consciousness that we're all connected to, we're all a part of. To me, God is abundantly above and beyond what we could have asked or even imagined. He's, you know, He's within and through all things. And I prayed and prayed and prayed for answers. You know, what is my purpose? Why am I here? And I was shown basically a full-out vision from God of me doing a television show. Originally, it was helping women get out of sex trafficking. And I've been trying to get that show off the ground ever since, and that was over 8 years ago. And, you know, me finding out my purpose and why I'm here made me fight a lot harder. I have never looked back. I hope this gets out there, but the Google Illuminati might not let it. But don't sweat it. I might be dead in 3 months just for you to get it. My mama taught me that I was better than that, so I don't fret it. What I got to say won't really make the news. I've been in there 5 times. It doesn't say shit about what I do. Next thing I know, I'm a victim of sex trafficking too. Didn't know that shit was true. This all makes me blue. Because all the countries relying on the fake news. Tweedledee and Tweedledum, I smell the blood of the sex trafficking slum. Fee, fi, fo, fum, this shit is dumb like rumpa-bum-bum. Do I need to bang on a drum? I probably need to get this place exercised because it's lies upon lies. And don't make me take out the apple pie, because what the Pizzagate is serving, y'all still haven't waked up and learned nothing. And y'all still believe the bullshit they serving. Wake up, world, and learn something. You know who can change the world? You. You got purpose.
To give it to her.
Hi, I'm Amanda Quimper, and in this series we will shed light upon various everyday modern moral issues. My mission is to find new ways to change lives. My strength comes from a vision that I received from God.
I told Mandy if she was going to make a difference, she had to get God involved. And until she did that, it was not going to get picked up.
Power of the spirituality from my family.
Because it's not about overcoming one fear. It's about learning how to deal with fear to move forward in your own life.
You have to believe in it. You can't just believe in it today and so tomorrow. It has to be in your heart, within your soul.
I have to admit to the world that she was an addict. That's a hard thing to say as a mom.
When it's never quit. Yeah. Yeah. My mic on? They say, stoop kid, you afraid of Lee and stoop. But I got this beat in my headphones playing on the loop. Working on my craft, get it in with my rhyme pad. Teachers thought I was dumb, didn't know where my mind at. It was all I had, sports didn't provide a creative outlet for me to show what's inside. I can't even lie, since 12 I wanna die. But this music keeps me going and I don't know why. But I think I got my explanation. Soon as I started writing to make a real statement, all of a sudden I gained a reputation, and I could be somebody that would uplift the nation. Yeah, and that feels like gold. I care for how many I help, not how many I sold. And those messages mean more to me than you. So if I'm saving you, just know you're saving me too. This ain't for the radio, this ain't for the clubs, this is progress, I'm focused on my growth. And if I ain't right, then I can't help us both. So I'm gonna build with my team, and when we're finally done, it's gonna be a platform for everyone. This ain't for the radio, this ain't for the clubs, this is for you. You show love. This ain't for the labels, this ain't for the loss, this is for the fight. And never giving up your life. You can't keep me down, no matter what they say. So it's up to you. You go swim, cause winners never quit, and quitters never win. Q on the beat. Winners never quit. Yeah. My mic on?
Let your light shine bright. Fight for what's right and don't give up with all your might, because God is in control and He's got your back, and He can see beyond your sight, and He loves you with all His might. So don't give in. Please don't give up, my friend. We love you. And this is not the end. This is just the beginning of what's happening. God is real, and He's in control, and He loves you most of all.
The core of Amanda is just pure love. She just comes from such a loving place. She has a deep and strong faith. She has a deep connection to God, which I believe came from, her foundation as a child, but then going through the things she went through, I believe she circled back to that. And I believe that her light is really ready to shine throughout the whole world.
I feel like I want to be a role model like my mom. The three of us combined could really make a difference.
Helping women overcome and set new standards, which is also my mission, is a powerful thing.
She didn't just want her life saved. She wanted to take people with her.
I think the show's a great idea to get girls that's in the situation out of the situation, because their lifestyle is nothing but a downward toilet, and it's a no-win situation.
Craziness. It empowers a lot of people. Here again, a family of motivating and empowering people to do better for themselves.
Putting it out there, the real deal, along with Mandy's passion, when you put those two together, it's going to really make some changes.
This is life or death for many on a daily basis, but I know that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and we can give people a lot of hope. If you're out there and you're struggling, keep trying. Don't give up. If one thing doesn't work, find a new way and go for it. You are the creator of your destiny. You can do all things through Christ who gives you strength. And with God, all things are possible. So find a new way. Even if you don't believe in God, believe in yourself. God is within and through all things. You are connected to that source. And know that every step you take, you're creating a multitude of realities for yourself in your life. And not only yourself in your life, but everyone else around you. So take that into consideration. You are a powerful creator of God, and you're very much loved. We are all multidimensional human beings. We came here to share the vibration of love beams. We are all part of the consciousness of God. We are a piece of the whole. We are all worthy of love. We are a heart. We are our soul. It's interesting what we are. We are a part of God's things. I don't understand why we have to fight and spread hatred, it seems. God has shown me many things throughout my life. I have seen angels, demons, ghosts, fairies, and even a blue avian, which is a part of our extraterrestrial life. I even saw light tunnels which haven't been opened since Atlantis. It's part of the morphinogenic field the heaven on earth is coming to this planet. We all need to unite. There is power in numbers. The vibrational field of our heart pierces hearts like thunder. I know we all have our own beliefs in this God or consciousness of our understanding, but there is so much we don't know. So we all need to ask God to reveal the truth to us. Please show us more of who you are. We want more of you. We love you so. I have sought God my entire life. My first experience, I asked God if he was real, he would make my baby doll without batteries and it cry. And he did. I remember telling my cousin as a child I believed in a wish land. I was a child, but I can tell you it is coming. You must understand. What I have been shown might be weird and misunderstood, but I have to be true to what I was revealed. I know Jesus would.
Ain't nothing gonna hold me down. Ain't nothing stopping me. Move along, watch the world go round. Everybody just move your feet. I was lost, now I'm found. I was chained, now I'm free. Move along, move along. Everybody go chase your dream.
Come on, started with a shoebox and a trash bag. In the city where you die on a bad batch. I remember I ain't have a thing to my name. Not a couple days clean, everything gotta change. Check the record. No car, no job, just a bus pass. Baby face, I ain't even have a mustache. You know I grew up quick, the music blew up quick. The only thing I knew what true love is. They saying life is like a movie, everybody watching. Got to keep it Gucci while we laying down the options. They say we bout a profit, but you know we bout that message. Everybody count their money and forget to count their blessings. Sunshine when the rain goes. Gotta see it through the storm just to get a rainbow. I know it seemed hard, you feeling all alone. How you gonna see the world staring at a phone?
Ain't nothing gonna hold me down. Ain't nothing stopping me. Move along, watch the world go round. Everybody just move your feet. I was lost, now I'm found. I was chained, now I'm free. Move along, move along. Everybody go chase your dreams.
We in the Winnebago corner of the market like Heisenberg. The genius they cooking up, so don't try it, that line of blur. The product is so superb, you blew it so you were herb. I'ma push it to the limit, got my balls in my word. Gotta pay attention around these dudes. CO, rapping never sweating, I'm the greed, they got the BO. Numbers way up, but I wouldn't wanna be. I was heavy in the street, but cut it down. Keto, knock, knock, let them in. I've been irrelevant, ladder 49. Be more represent, calling us in charge. Trying to play my music for your friends. This is Hunger Mockingjay. Let the game begin, try to knock it out the park, but they heard a foul ball. Why do O's switch the anthem when I get around y'all? I've been gone with the U-Haul, yeah, for too long. You getting what I'm saying? We move to evolve.
Ain't nothing gonna hold me down. Ain't nothing stopping me. Move along, watch the world go round. Everybody just move your feet. I was lost, now I'm found. I was chained, now I'm free. Move along, move along. Everybody go chase your dreams. Here's a dose of some daily motivation. J-Ness with the daily inspiration. Same flow, just a different situation. Me and Cloud Gang got the music medication. Fill the script, take a hit, hold it in, breathe it out. You can feel what we're really about. Just some feel good music when you down and you out. So you don't have to ride the wave, coming right on the cloud. Bet you didn't know that I be rapping on the down low. Got your heads bobbing up and down like the Dow Jones. Feel the groove now, bust a move now. Rocking all night long like a luau. So every time you hear that funky fresh beat drop, snap your fingers, let me see you make your knees knock. Cause we be tearing down the walls, call it sheetrock. J-Ness on time like a G-Shock. Ain't nothing gonna hold me down. Ain't nothing stopping me. Move along, watch the world go round. Everybody just move your feet. I was lost, now I'm found. I was chained, now I'm free. Move along, move along. Everybody go chase your dreams until the break of dawn. Till everybody's gone. We rockin' all night long. We rockin' all night long. Until the break of dawn. Till everybody's gone. We rockin' all night long. We rockin'. Ain't nothing gonna hold me down. Ain't nothing stopping me. Move along, watch the world go round. Everybody just move your feet. I was lost, now I'm found. I was chained, now I'm free. Move along, move along. Everybody go chase your dreams.
I wake up, I take a breath, look in the mirror, see myself. I read your word and I see the light. I open up and I come alive. I take the day, I praise your name. I know my life will never be the same, 'cause everything that I say and do, every breath, it's all for you. Letting go of my life's concerns always seemed so absurd. Love and faith had been misplaced. Then at the cross I saw your face. Now my whole world has changed. Your love has put my heart in flames. I lay it down, I quit this race. I am now